Today we are going to continue our class on Linux system administration. Particularly today we are going to look at user management, how you can create a user account as a system admin. Without much delay, we are going to hop in and see how we can create an account and also manage an account. Computer used by multiple people require differentiation between user to protect private file. Supposing you are a system admin and you have so many users to access a particular system, there must be a control, there must be an account that distinguish a user from another user. So that is where the concept of user account comes in. An individual user must have his or her own personal account where he can process, he can store and do whatever he needs to do within the boundary of his account. User differentiation is important even if the computer is a single user at a time. Each user is assigned a unique username for login purposes. So which means that his user must have a user ID and also a username and password. The user account encompasses all files, resources, and information belonging to one user. So which means that while creating an account, you should bear in mind that an account should belong to a single user. So if I am creating an account for A, so an account for A should carry all the information of A. So a user account encompasses all files that belongs to A, all resources that belong to A, and information belonging to A. The concept of a user account is just like a bank account. A bank account belongs to one person, where resources can be used up, money can be used up based on the user activities or user's needs. So as a system admin, you need to understand what a user account is meant for. In this training, I will walk you through the process of using Linux to create an account and manage an account as a system admin. When it comes to creating an account, Linux identifies users by a unique integer called user ID. So it's like a unique ID number that is given to each user for fast processing. A separate database links each user ID to a textual username and stores additional user's information. Creating a user involves adding the user's information like name, phone number, house number, or whatever information fits your organization as a system admin. Creating a home directory for the user and also setting up an appropriate initial environment for the user. Linux distribution typically include programs for creating user accounts such as, now I'm going to give you two commands, basic commands that you use to create a user account. The first is the add user and the second is user add. You are going to see the difference between the two, the add user and the user add. The first one, which creates both user and the home directory, while the second one creates the user with the option to create the home directory. We are going to look at it in a short while. This tool simplifies the process, automating much of the detailed work. Let us take a look at this in practice. So this is the Linux environment. In this training, we are going to use Kali Linux. So once you open your Kali Linux and go to your terminal, this is where I am. So for better understanding, you can see that Jimmy here is the user name, while the Kali here is the server or the host name. But because I'm working as an administrator, I want to sign in as the root admin, which is the admin that owns all the power to do anything. So in order for you to move to a root administrator, all you need to type is, the command you need to use is su, switch user, su, that's su space hyphen, and hit enter. So it will request for a password, and after you put your password, you'll be taken to a root admin, which is root user. So here we are as the root user of this system. So here it means we can do a whole lot of things. We can create users without being asked to put in a password or any form of verification. So here as a root you can do anything you wish to do in this computer. So I will type in a clear command just to clear off the screen for better understanding. So I mentioned that for you to create an account for a user, supposing in practical you are a system admin for your company and you have 2 new joiners into your company, 2 staff. So you are now asked to create a user account for them. This is how you are going to go about it. You are going to use any of these 2 commands. Any of them will create a user account. But I want to show you why the one is different from the other. We are going to use first the add user, then after that we consider the user add. So I want to add a new account, and the account name, the username is Felix. So that will take us to add user call Felix and hit enter. Now you can see that it's adding user Felix, selecting user ID and group ID from range of 1000 to 59,999. Now you can recall that a Linux system also have its own inbuilt user. Now a root user has a user ID of 0. Always remember that a root user has a user ID of 0. Now after a root user, there are other users that system has in itself and inbuilt users like daemon, like so many things that are embedded in the system. And all this system user has its user's ID. We start from 1 to 999. 999. So anything from 1 to 999 has to do with system user. So if you are starting to create a new user with your Linux operating system, as long as you are the one creating the user will take the user ID of 1000, and it should take from 1000 to 59,999. That is a pretty much amount of space for you to add your user. You can also see adding new group Felix. Like I said, anytime you are creating a user, that same user also have its own group. So Felix as a user, Felix also have Felix as a group. So you can see now creating home directory. So you can see it also creates home directory, which means that Felix here, you can see Felix as a system admin in your home directory. Now, lastly, you can also copy files from /etc/scale initial environment. You understand all what this means as we proceed. Now, the system prompted you to put in the password for the user. As an admin, there is an initial password I want the user to inherit. So I will put the initial password 1234 and enter. It will require me to confirm the password. So I will put in again 1234 and enter. So here you will be asked to put the user's full information, starting with full name. So here the full name is Felix Amaka. Then you hit on enter. The room number, if there is nothing like room number, you can leave it with non-applicable and enter. Then work number, I can just put a dummy number, which is not correct. And also home number, I can put a dummy home number. All right. So others, if you do not have other information, you can put it as non-applicable. Boom. So now you are asked to confirm if the information you have provided for Felix, if all those informations are correct. If they are not, you can also make changes to it by saying no. But if the information is correct, then you can say yes by typing Y and enter. So yes, guys, we are able to create an account for Felix. So it is as simple as that. Now we have 2 people and we have created an account for one person, which is Felix. And we use a command called add user. Add user to create an account for Felix. Now you can see the process that we have to take using a command add user. Now the second part, we are going to create an account for the second employee or second staff. And in this case, we are going to use the other command called user add. Now you see the difference between the two commands. The first one gives opportunity to input some custom information, while the second one will just create an account for you without the opportunity to put this information. Now let's look at it in detail. We want to create an account for Nancy. So I will say user add Nancy. All right. So if you hit on enter, boom, user is added. So you can see that here you do not really have the opportunity to put Nancy's first name, Nancy phone number, Nancy work number, and others. So, but notwithstanding, user account is created. So that doesn't mean that later you cannot edit. You can also edit. When we get there, you will learn how you can modify user account. But now creating an account means using two commands, any of the two commands. The first one is user add and the second one is add user. I think that is very clear. If you have any question, you can put it on the comment section. So now you have full understanding on user creation. You have created an account. Yes, that is good. You understand how you can create an account, and but the question is, can you really access where this account is stored in your system? That will lead us to users data storage. Now we have two very important directory or files. The first one is /etc/password, spelled as PASSWD, not the real password. And the second one is /etc/shadow. Now let's take a look at this. User database. The /etc/password files store information about all valid user. So all the valid user in your system can be accessed, can be seen using /etc/password. Now the format you see, definitely once you open this file, you will see every user is stored on a straight line, and this straight line has a format. The first one there is the username, and the second one is the user ID, the group ID, full name of the account holder, home directory, and the login shell. We're going to see that in just a moment. All right. So without wasting time, let's move to our workstation. Now, I have said that there are two most important files as a system admin that you need to know about user account. The first one is /etc/password, while the other is /etc/shadow. Now let's take a look at these important files. Where can you really see this file? Recall that in Linux operating system, we have what we call root directory. Root directory. Root directory. If at all you are lost anytime, make sure your command to be in the root directory is change directory cd/. That's all. Only cd/. So if you hit your enter button, you are in home directory. So home directory is like a root directory is like not home directory, is root directory. Root directory is like the directory of all directories. Directory of all directories. Imagine you have a very large estate. That estate is like root directory. And in that estate, we have other smaller estates inside of it. So that can be likened to other smaller directories inside the root directory. Now, if you want to see all the directories in the root directories, all you need to do is to type ls command and enter. So ls command is what you list all that you have inside the root command. That is what ls is actually used for. You list. Whenever you say ls, you are actually talking about listing. So if I open a particular folder, if I open a particular directory, all that I need to do is to list. If I say ls, I'm listing everything. I want to see everything that is inside the directory. That is what ls is used for. So in my ls here, I'm actually in root, but I now put ls. I now type ls. ls will show me everything I have in root. So you can take a look at this. We have the bin directory. We have etc directory. The etc we mentioned, and we are coming to it. We have the boot directory. This boot directory is very, very important. It is very, very important because it has all the boot files and configurations. So we have the dev device, we have the home, we have the lib, we have the media, we have all this directory found inside the root directory. So the root directory is like a parent directory. So that is just by the way. So now what we are actually interested in is the etc. So now let me open my etc slash. Don't forget I am now residing in my root. So now from my root I can navigate into etc, which is slash etc. So if I enter, I'm already in my etc. Can you take a look at this? This you have here shows that this is where you are currently are. So if you say, what is my present working directory? pwd. It's actually slash etc. So whatever you have here in this square bracket is what we have where we are working from. So here, in this case, I was working from my root directory, but no, now I said, okay, I'm moving to my etc. So I'm now working, whatever I want to type now will be inside slash etc. So now, since I'm still inside slash etc, I want to open the slash etc. Let's see a lot of things that you have there. We have a lot of files, we have a lot of configuration files, a lot of folders also. So let's look at some of them, and now we'll see where we have the password and the shadow that is still in the same directory. So I'll open my slash etc by typing ls, right, and enter. Boom. So you can see inside my slash etc I have so many files, important files. I do not grade some of these files. Some of these files, most of them came with the system. So it means deleting anything in this directory is dangerous. Very, very dangerous. So some of these directories controls how your system behaves. Now you see that aspect I was talking about, the user's account. The slash etc slash password. Now they are all here. So when I will go to P and search for password. Okay, of course this is the shadow. So this is a shadow file we are talking about for the other aspect, and we also have the password. Where is it? Okay, yeah, this is the password. So this, you see, all that you see in white color are all files, and this in blue are sometimes mostly directory. All right, so now you can see that there is a file called password in a directory called etc, and this etc is inside a directory called root. So if you want to address them using a path, you can say slash root slash etc slash password. So you are starting from parent to the father and finally to the son, which is the password. So it means password is inside etc. And which other one? The other one, the shadow here. The shadow is also inside etc. So you can see that this directory is very, very important for your configuration, for your whatever setting, for your very important programs. So deleting this directory called etc, it is very, very dangerous, or dangerous. Thank you. So now we are able to see in detail where we can find the password, which is here, and where we can also find the shadow, which is also here. All right. So now let us continue by opening the file and see what we have inside the file. So if I say cat, of course, don't forget what cat command is used for. cat. Cat command. Cat. Not the one that mews, but this one does not mew. What it does is it reads files. So if I want to read a file, what I'll do is to use a command called cat. So let me clear off this screen so that you get it. Clear off this. All right. So cat means cat. I want to read a file. And which file do I want to read? I want to read a file. Then use space and give the file name /etc/password. All right. So this you see now is our file. I want to read this password file. So if I hit on enter, I can see so many information here. Let me go up so I can be able to see so many of this information. Okay. So don't forget, I mentioned that root user or root administrator, or you that is a system admin that has the power of a root administrator, you are the first user in the system, the very first user with user ID number of 0. So that what means to you is that root user is very, very, very important. Root user is very important in the sense that it has control over everything. It can delete, it can remove, it can add, it can do a whole lot of things to the computer without permission, because as a root user, you already have a permission that works for you, as long as you have a root level permission. So you can see here that the root administrator or the root user takes the user ID of 0 and group ID of 0. Don't forget, I said the first name on this line, each of this line represents a user. Each of them represents a user. Each of them represents a user. So this root is a user. This daemon is a user. This bin is a user. This sys is a user. But all these users from 0 to 999 are all system user. I repeat, from 0 to 999 are all system user. So which means that your user, if you are to create a user, your user will start from 1000. That is the number your user will start from, supposing the user is the first user you create in your system. So take a look at my first user. My first user is actually my name, my account. And you can see that the first user is Jimmy. And you can see the all of information for Jimmy. The Jimmy will take that line, the first line. So Jimmy is the name of the user, and 1000 is the user ID, and also 1000 is the group ID. Now Prince Jimmy is the full name of Jimmy and some other information pertaining to Jimmy if you are using hard user to create your account. Okay, so you can see from Jimmy down we can have 1001, 1002, 3, 4, 5, blah 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 blah. Alright, so your take home is that you should have in mind that root user has a user ID of 0. Root user or root account, root administrator has a user ID of what? 0. That should be your take home. Alright, so I have so many other users. I have at least Equere, Test 2, Test 3, Ayo, No Password, John, James, Ada, Ayodele, Emeka, Williams, Femi, Nasiru, Ngozi, Felix, and lastly Nancy. Okay, so you can see that I just created these two. Now you can see Felix, and one thing you should look if you are observant is that for Felix we have so many other information for Felix which was made possible for us using hard user command. And the other one I used user hard to create Nancy. You can see very limited information about Nancy. So the difference between the two is that hard user will allow you to put extra other information about the user, while the user hard will not allow you to create a user account with very minimal information. That is only the group ID, the user ID, and the directory, including the locking shell. So those are the information you will get when you are using user ID to open or to create your account. I repeat, if you are using hard user command to create an account will give you the opportunity to put other information about the user. But if you are using user hard as a command to create an account, it will go straight to the point to create an account with a minimum information like user ID, group ID, home directory, and the locking shell. I want to believe that is clear enough. So without wasting of time, we'll move to the next topic. How you can create your account using a command, a simple command. You can also make use of manual method to create an account, which means you can edit the existing one, you can add a new account, all by manually typing it. How do you do that? You can either choose to add your account using /etc/password where you store all your account information. Of course, recall in our last class, I talked about /etc/password where you store all your user account. Now, if you want to manually type in your account, you can use VIPW as a command to open up an editing space of /etc/password. Secondly, you can also edit your group using /etc/group and a command VIGR. We are going to look at this in practical. You can create your home directory using MKDIR to create your user home directory and copy the default file from /etc/kel to new home directory. You can set your permission using shun and chmod command. And finally, you can set your password using password PASSWD. So let us go to our terminal to see how this can be done manually. Now, like I said, I am now in my user account, Jimmy. But because I am working as a system admin, I would like to switch my user to a root user. And what is it to switch and how to do it? is SU hyphen enter. So it will require you to put your password, which is my password. So after that, what you do is to just clear off this, so it will right. So now, to add an account or modify an account manually, what you do is to type VIPW. It will take you to the Vim editor that you have all the information about the user editable. Don't forget, if you use CAT, you are only reading. You don't have the power, you don't have the permission to edit. But using VI means that you want to edit this. So if you tap enter, it will take you to a file where you have all your user stored and their information. So you can see Nancy, you can see Felix, you can see Ngozi. So supposing I want to add another user. So to edit in VI, the first thing you do is to tap on I, and the insert will come up. That insert shows that you can start editing, you can start writing things, you can start adding other items in it. So what I will do, I'll move to the next line, and I want to create an account for Godwin. So I can manually type Godwin, colon, X, colon, then Godwin user ID, I'll say 1022, which is the next number, and group ID, I will say 1023. Then I will let other information go about Godwin. I will use the home directory /Godwin / what is the login shell. I will maintain bash /bash bin /bash. Sorry, I have to put in my column here. All right. So here I've been able to come up with my new account. So after setting this account, you can also make edits. You can also edit some information manually from this file. So after this, what you do is to save whatever changes you have made, and to save in this and to exit or quit. So the first thing to do before I put in my command, since it is still on the insert mode, you can see the insert down below. So what you do is to escape. Once you escape, you put in your column W, which is save, and Q, which is quit, and then exclamation mark, and then enter. You can see that you are out. To look at modifying user account. Account modification commands are chfn, which is change the full name field in /etc/password. You can also modify account using chsh, change the login shell, and also the password. Now let us see how this works in practical. Now I want to change the other information for an account, Alex or Femi. So what I will do is chfn Felix and enter. So it will require me to put in my, to edit my information. The last information was for the full name was Felix Amaka, so I can choose to change it to Felix Ada. All right, and enter. I will have opportunity to change the room number, which was previously NA, non-applicable. I can now choose 92. Then the work phone number, I can give another dummy work phone number. And home phone number, I can give another dummy phone number. Then other details still remains non-applicable, so I can hit my continue. So I have been able to use a chfn command to change or to modify my user information. In this case, the username and some other information. Now, we are going to look at CHSH. We are going to look at CHSH, and I want to change the login shell for Sam Felix. Felix login shell was /bin/bash shell. So I want to change it to sh. So that will be /bin/bash or /sh, not born again shell this time. So I've changed it. So the last one is I want to change the password of Felix from what it is to a new password. So I can say password, very simple thing, password Felix, and hit the enter. So I can put a new password, enter, and another password, enter. So that is successfully updated. So to make modification to an account or existing account, you can use 3 major commands to make modification. The first being chfn to change the first name and other property of the users, and the second chsh, which is to change the login shell, and lastly the password, to change the password of the user. So I believe this is very clear for all of you to understand. If you still have any issue, please send me a message down in the comment section and I will respond immediately. Thank you.